Hello, and what is up, people? You are listening to The Introverted Nerd Watches. I am your host, Reese, and today I watched Season 3, Episode 14 of Saved by the Bell, The Babysitters. Yay! It's almost the end of the season. So, before we get into anything else, I will tell you that you should subscribe to the podcast because I am great. And I want you to join me for everything. So go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, leave me a 5-star review. I'll read it on the podcast, and it'll be beautiful in my beautiful voice. I have a cold right now, so it's not that beautiful right now, but you understand. You can also subscribe on Stitcher and iHeartRadio and TuneIn. We're available everywhere you can get your podcast. So subscribe, 5-star review, and everything will be beautiful. So let's get into this, because I have to say right off the bat that I feel like I have been cheated, or I've been lied to. Yes, I've been lied to, because I've been saying for I don't know how long, since I started this season, season 3, that this was like the start of my favorite stuff because everybody's older and everything is better this way. But it turns out there's all of these fucking throwback episodes that are not supposed to be throwbacks. They're just like, it's stupid Saved by the Bell airing shit out of order. So I have those episodes where they're like older and everything is good and Kelly and Zach are together. And then I have these episodes where it's like puny Zach with his chicken chest and his weird hair. Like, hello, I feel like I was sold something earlier in the season, and then they changed it up on me in the middle. And Max is back in this episode. It was like 3 episodes ago where I was saying, oh my God, they gave Max the Judy Winslow treatment. Turns out, no, Max is just running around all over these episodes now because they aired out of order. So he's in this episode, really crazily in this episode, stupidly. Max is the photographer in this episode. It's so ridiculous. So Max is in this episode. He's not Judy Winslow. He's back. And we have Lisa with her non-curly hair. It's like not straight, but it's like kind of natural, but whatever natural was in the 80s. And Kelly has her big like pageant hair. It's crazy. It's not what I thought it was going to be. And so now I know that I was not watching these episodes the way that they aired. I was watching them like, I was like really, as a kid when I was watching this show, I was like tuning in and tuning out like at certain points. So you miss parts of certain episodes and you see parts of others, and it's like, of course I watch Saved by the Bell every day. I know everything about it. Turns out not so much. I'm pissed. Not really. This episode was crazy. So The Babysitters is basically Kelly's parents, who are the worst parents, neglectful and terrible, terrible parents. They leave her, they go on vacation, and Kelly is a poor. We know that. Her dad lost his job. I will never get over the fact that he actually took the money from her that she was going to use to buy her prom dress. Did I say dressed? He took the money that she was going to use to buy her prom dress and took it because he lost his job and Kelly was trying to help out the family. That was a dick move. I will never forgive that guy. Fortunately, he and his wife were not in this episode, but they're terrible, terrible parents. So Kelly gets stuck with her baby brother. Yes, she has a baby brother. When her parents decided to have another kid, I don't know, or maybe this kid was already around and Kelly was about to go on prom. I don't know where this baby came from, we'll never see him again, I don't think, but still, it's a fucking baby. So Kelly is watching this baby while her parents are on vacation because, you know, her no job having dad and whatever her mom does, they can't take care of her kids. They can't let Kelly go to her prom and buy a fucking dress for it, but they can go on vacation to like some sort of ski resort. They got snowed in and Kelly is stuck with the baby. So Kelly calls her friends, who are really good friends, because I certainly wouldn't have been trying to help Kelly out, but I'm a terrible friend. That's been established. We all know that, right? So she calls her friends. She says it's an emergency, and they all go to the max, and she shows up with a baby on her back and like a carrier on her back, and this baby has to be, I don't know how old. The baby's name is Billy. Little Billy has to be like 9 or 10 months old. He's not like a tiny baby, but he's kind of big. I mean, I don't know babies' ages. I don't know shit about babies, but he can't talk and he can't walk. And Kelly has him in this carrier. And okay, I just said I don't know shit about kids. I do know that you're supposed to strap those little assholes in where you're carrying them, like when you have them in those carriers, you're supposed to have them strapped in. Kelly has this baby on her back, and like it's like a high chair on her back, and the baby's not strapped in or anything. He's just chilling there, but at any moment that baby could have just fallen out. Maybe that's just, I don't know whether that's Kelly's parents being like, that's another thing to add on to their list of the most terrible parents in the world, or it's just a 90s thing, and we were just, in the 90s, they were making all sorts of shit where it was like, maybe this baby will be safe, maybe not, it doesn't matter. Sue us later if your kid dies, if your kid falls and hurts itself, sue us later, but whatever. The baby was just hanging out on her back. It was so crazy. And like me, who knows nothing about kids, I looked at that and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is she doing? Carrying that baby around like that? But okay. So she tells her friends that like, yo, I need y'all help because I'm stuck with this baby. My parents are still on vacation. They claim they were snowed in at that ski resort, but can't believe anything they say. And she's like, I need you guys to watch Billy while I go to, where did she say she was going? She was either going to she was going to cheerleading practice, and they had like they have to take pictures for the yearbook. So Kelly was going to do that, and everybody's sitting around when she's asking, they're like, huh? That's really cute, Kelly. like nobody's like really raising their hand. Nobody wants to watch that baby. And I completely get that, because if Kelly would have called me, if my friend would have called me and she would have been like, hey, can you watch? Not can you help me watch? Like, I'll be there with you. Can you help me watch my baby brother? But I need you to take this baby while I go do some other shit and you watch it. I would have looked at Kelly. I would have been like, sorry, girl. I straight up would have been like, nope. You know, anybody else turned around and looked at me, I would have straight up been Mariah Carey. I don't know her. I would not be, no, you would not catch me babysitting anybody else's baby brother or like baby sibling without them around and not getting paid for it. Nope, your girl would not be caught like that. No. But Kelly's friends are better than me for once. For once, these people are better people than I am, because well, at least shocked as shit, but Zach is better than me, because Zach is like, come on, you guys, let's help Kelly out. And no, it's not Zach, it's Slater, because they're still on this, because of the throwback nature of this episode, they're still in a place where Zach and Slater are still competing for Kelly. So Um, Slater volunteers everybody. He's like, come on, let's do this for her. And, Kelly gives them the baby and she leaves. But Zach is the one that gets stuck with the baby because, everybody else makes excuses. And they didn't even have to make excuses. Even Zach, because Zach didn't say anything, but Slater volunteers and then just leaves the baby with Zach, which is kind of a dick move, but kind of smart. If you want to, you want to get points with Kelly, but you don't want to watch that baby, you take the baby, you let her leave, and you just, drop that baby off with somebody else. He'll be fine. And so Zach gets stuck with the baby first, and he's carrying the baby around in a duffel bag. And it's so obviously not a baby. I mean, obviously, they wouldn't, Saved by the Bell, I don't have the highest opinion of the people that run that used to run this show, but I do know that they wouldn't allow these kids to carry around an actual real life baby in a duffel bag. So, 1 point for them for being kind of responsible adults, I guess. But you're supposed to believe that Zach is carrying around this baby in a duffel bag. And it's so obviously not a baby. Like, you couldn't put rocks or something in the bag to make it look like it was a baby, because Zach just looks like he's carrying around an empty bag. Which it probably is, just an empty duffel bag. And this got me thinking about, I get so mad on TV shows where people are obviously supposed to be carrying something that has like a weight to it, but they can't fake it. And it's like, dude, you're an actor. Act like you're carrying something that has some heft to it. Or like on Pretty Little Liars. This is not new. Everybody knows about this, right? If you watch Pretty Little Liars, those chicks drink a ton of coffee, but there was never anything in those coffee cups, and it used to drive me crazy. They would buy the the little carrying container where they would buy coffee for each other, and they would have like four coffees in the little the tray, the carrying tray. And they were carrying in the house, and they would just be swinging these cups around like they obviously didn't have anything in there. And it's like, you are a professional actor. Act like these cups have something in them, because why couldn't they put water in the cups? And with this show, why couldn't you put rocks or some sort of weight in the bag to make it look like there was some... My pet peeve. This is my pet peeve. This is my thing. I cannot get over it. I'll try to move on. Let's keep moving. So Zach goes to a French class with a terrible French teacher who has a terrible, terrible fake French accent. It's like, you didn't even have to do that. You could have just gotten a woman that could speak like very rudimentary French, because nobody watching the show would have cared. I took French in class. I wouldn't know shit if she didn't. You just needed somebody to speak basic French. You didn't need the fake, like the Pepe Le Pew French accent, because this woman was terrible. She was, she was just like, ooh, oui, oui, oui. And I swear it was just all stereotypes. Like, ooh, oui, oui. Like, parlez-vous français? Oh, je m'appelle. And I don't know that I took French. Isn't my French accent beautiful? I did take French. I took, instead of Spanish, in high school, I took French. Shout out to Wardell, my French teacher. And that was his name, because I went to a high school where we could call all of our teachers by their first name. So my French teacher was his name was Wardell, and he did not always smell good. So he was a great teacher. I loved him, but he was not the freshest smelling man. And I had French in, fourth period. So I was not getting like early morning fresh Wardell. I was getting, had a few classes, sweating Wardell. And, yeah, Sorry, Wardell. I wonder if that guy's still alive. My high school closed, so I don't know if he like retired or got a new job. If anybody went to my high school and they know Wardell, well, don't tell them to listen to this, but tell them I said hi. So when she's trying to teach the French class, she's giving out instruction and she's telling the kids to try to like repeat after her. And the baby starts making noise because these kids are stupid and they didn't realize a fucking baby would start making noise throughout the day. And it's like, how did you even think that you could hide a baby, like carrying it around in a duffel bag, and taking it to class with you? How did you think you could hide this? Why didn't Kelly just stay home? That's what I want to know. Why didn't Kelly just stay her ass home with her baby brother? And I know they say it's because she wants to take the picture for the yearbook with the other cheerleaders, but it's like, get the fuck out of here, Kelly. Just stay your ass home with those kids, or have your other siblings, because she has like 20 other. Who's the little girl? The girl from last week. She was like 13 years old. She was old enough to watch that baby for a few hours while Kelly went to take her yearbook pictures. What's the little girl's name? Nikki. Have Nikki watch the baby while you go take your yearbook pictures, and then take your ass back home and watch your little brother. Like, there's no need to have your friends carrying your baby brother around in a duffel bag just because you want to take a fucking yearbook picture. And maybe this is just a me thing because I didn't care about taking yearbook pictures. And what was it? I think it was in middle school. My yearbook picture was the same picture, and every year I took a picture in the 6th grade, and I think it was the same picture every year for the yearbook. So yeah, I don't care about that shit, and I can't ever remember taking yearbook pictures in high school. So I don't think I did. Maybe I did. Another request: whoever went to my high school with me, if you have a yearbook from any year of high school, am I in it? I'm probably not. It's probably just a blank thing. I want to see if it's blank. That would be so cool if it was blank. I don't know why it would be cool, but I just love it that it would just be my name with a blank space where my picture is supposed to be. That would be great. So yeah, Kelly irresponsible, Zach carrying baby in a duffel bag, French class. So the baby starts making a ton of noise, and apparently the baby says something that's close to something that is said in French, and the teacher tells the class to repeat after Zach. So it's basically everybody in class starts speaking a bunch of baby talk because the teacher is stupid and doesn't realize Zach is not the one that's actually speaking in this baby's voice. Oh, she was stupid. And so what happens? I think Screech comes into the class, and he whispers to Zach that we don't hear what he whispers, but Zach says bye, and he runs out of class. He says he has to leave, and because the whole class was repeating after Zach, following Zach, they all leave too, and class is dismissed, and the teacher can't stop anybody. It's so fucking stupid. So we find out that Kelly is a real burden, and they're really stuck with this baby because she broke her arm in cheerleading practice. So that's when who is it? Lisa and Jesse are like, okay, Zach, this was real cute, watching this baby for a little while Kelly was just at practice. But this chick broke her arm and she's at the hospital. It's time to call in the adults. Let's take the baby to the nurse, or take the baby to, they say, let's take the baby to the nurse. And Zach is like really not trying to get rid of this baby. He's like, no, the nurse sucks. Whatever, like the professional nurse who probably knows a little something about babies, who works at a school with a bunch of students. Zach is like, no, that bitch is not good enough to take care of baby Billy. And then they're like, okay, no nurse, you're being annoying, but we won't go to the nurse. Let's take the baby to Mr. Belding. He's your equal, Zach. He's your co-principal. He runs shit along with you. We can take the baby to him. And I don't remember why Zach says they can't take the baby to Mr. Belding, but he doesn't want to do that. So he's like, no, you guys, Kelly trusted us with the baby, so we have to keep the baby. What? Like, what the fuck is Kelly? So Kelly trusted you with the baby. So she doesn't want, she would be perfectly happy with you carrying this baby around in a duffel bag. But she would be pissed if you took the baby to an adult, to the school nurse or the school principal. Shut up, Zach. I hate you. Die. I was just like, that is not even, those aren't even good excuses. And what we're supposed to get out of it is that Zach has really bonded with this baby, and this baby has him thinking about what it will be like when he was when he becomes a father. You know, he's 16 years old and he'll be a father by 18, because you know Zach is not. Zach has young unmarried father so in his future. It is written all over him. He is going to be so irresponsible. He is not going to wrap it up at all. He's going to get so many girls pregnant. Oh, it's going to be... Zach is terrible. Anyway, he has a daydream. Ugh. My dude has an actual real life daydream about being a father. And it's ridiculous. He's playing ball, you know, he's playing like baseball with a kid, like throwing the ball around or something. And we go all the way through from like little league to, you know, graduating high school or graduating college or something like that. And it's like, why is Zach thinking about having children at this, like babysitting for a few hours? Not even that. Like, you're with this kid for the length of one class, and all of a sudden you're like really attached to baby Billy and you want to have children now, and you're daydreaming about having children. Get the fuck out of here. Zach is like, okay, you cannot buy this. This is ridiculous. But we'll keep moving on because it gets more ridiculous, I think. Anyway, while they're trying to figure out what to do with this baby, because Zach can't take care of the baby. He has another class, or he has to take yearbook photos. I don't know why he can't take care of that baby, but he's trying to get Lisa and Jesse to take care of the baby, because Lisa and Jesse have a home ec class next. And their home ec class, they're learning how to take care of babies. I don't know what this home ec class is. Like, maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention, but their home ec class is, their teacher is teaching them how to take care of babies. Now, I had home ec class, one home ec class where we learned how to cook, and one home ec class where I learned how to sew. And I learned how to sew a pillow. I don't remember any of that shit though. So, you know, it was kind of useless for me, but I never had a home ec class where we learned how to take care of a fucking baby. But I did when I was in I think I was in the 8th grade. So this was in middle school. One of my classes, I think it was a social studies class. We all got one of those dolls that like one of those, it's not a real doll, because a real doll is a sex doll. It's one of those dolls that has a key on it and it cries and everything. It's to like simulate an actual baby, because I think it was supposed to be like pregnancy prevention, because of, I don't know, maybe around that time when I was in the 8th grade, there was a lot of like teen pregnancy must have been really high back then, because we had one of those I got one of those babies, and it has a key, and you have to, feed it, and it cries and everything. It was a real pain in the ass. But so we had that. That was not. It was not trying to teach us how to take care of babies, though. It was trying to show us what it would be like if we had unprotected sex. So, and the kind of dolls they had was just a regular dollar store baby doll. So that it was just teaching them how to take care of babies. And they took baby Billy to that class because, Zach leaves the baby with Lisa and Jesse. And the teacher, there are a whole bunch of dolls around. These are not the kind of dolls that make any kind of real noise. But there's a real baby in class and nobody notices. All the noise that we made in that class, that baby would make a ton of noise. But whatever. The teacher's too stupid to notice. Or maybe Billy is just a heavy sleeper and he stayed asleep through the home ec class. So Screech comes in during the home ec class and they're trying to guide him to which stroller the real baby is in, because there are a whole bunch of strollers around for the fake babies. And so he takes a baby. Fucking Screech. I hate him. He takes a baby doll, thinking that it's a baby because he can't tell the difference between an actual real life baby and a fucking doll. So he takes what he thinks is Billy back to Zach, and turns out it's just a doll. And Zach is pissed, and I don't know where the baby somehow ends up with Mr. Belding. I don't know how that happens. Because I don't get it. I don't understand. So fake baby, they have the fake baby. The real baby is still in the home ec class with Lisa and Jesse. Class is over. Kelly comes back to school. She broke her wrist or something. And she's like, okay, hey, thanks for watching Billy for me. Where's my brother? All of them, Lisa, Jesse, Slater, Zach, and Screech are all standing there with a dumb look on their face, ooh, we don't know. And they can't say that they don't know, and they won't tell Kelly, and Kelly's not really getting. She's not even worried. Kelly doesn't really seem worried. And it's wouldn't you be kind of worried if the 5 people that you entrusted to watch your brother are all standing there, and your baby brother, who can't walk or talk or do anything for himself, is not there with them? But Kelly, I think she gets that from her parents. Her parents are very relaxed, obviously, and they don't care about shit. So maybe Kelly just gets that from them. She's just not worried about her brother at all. So so Max from the Max, who owns the Max, is in this school taking yearbook pictures. Why? Anybody, somebody explain. Anybody, hook up with me on Twitter, follow me at TheIntrovertedNerd, and tell me why Max is on this show taking pictures when he owns a fucking restaurant. Tell me that. I was I'm not even happy to see Max anymore. Last week, I was oh, look at Max, looking all buff. Fuck you, Max. You're a bad business owner. How are you at this school taking pictures when you own a fucking restaurant? And these kids that you're taking pictures of right now were just helping you keep your restaurant. You're being irresponsible. You suck. You don't deserve to have this restaurant. I can't wait until you leave, Max. You see how I turn on a dime? I really turn on people fast, because I'm what the fuck is Max doing here taking the yearbook pictures? Since when is Max a photographer? get out of here, Max. Just get the fuck out of here. I don't know why that made me so mad, but I was like, they could have gotten anybody. Just get any photographer. Get any rando. You could have gotten like a random teacher. I would have, Mr. Dewey. Get Mr. Dewey to take the yearbook pictures. I would have been fine with that. Well, maybe not because he has class, but I would have been better with that than I am with Max taking the yearbook pictures. Something about Max just being there taking the yearbook pictures is really set me off. So Max walks up and they, maneuver it so that Kelly is gets to take a picture because they call her like she's so brave for breaking her arm as a cheerleader. I don't know. Kelly's stupid. She falls for it. She takes the pictures. And these idiots are running around checking lockers. Like, why wouldn't you go back to the home ec class where you left the baby? Whatever. These people are stupid. But that's crazy, right? You would go back to the home ec class where you left the goddamn baby, right? You would go back to the last place the baby was. Because the baby can't walk. So the baby is wherever it is just in that pram somewhere, right? Whatever. They hear the baby over the loudspeaker because Mr. Belding has the baby. And if Zach wasn't such an asshole, they could have given Mr. Belding the baby earlier in the day and everything would have been settled. But no. So they go to Mr. Belding's office and Mr. Belding, I forget who it is. I think it's Zach inadvertently says, oh, Billy, there you are. Like he says it like he didn't know where the baby was, which he didn't. And Kelly's like, wait, you didn't know Mr. Belding had my baby brother? And they cover it up. They cover up this slip made by Zach by basically gaslighting Mr. Belding. They make Mr. Belding, or maybe it's like a Jedi mind trick. They make Mr. Belding think that he was supposed to have the baby. And they make him believe that he forgot Billy's name because he's like asking what the baby's name is. And he's like, Kelly, this is your brother. And she's like confused. She's like, Mr. Belding, you didn't know? They didn't tell you? And Mr. Belding is like, Zach starts leading Mr. Belding through like the lie. But Mr. Belding isn't catching on. And then Slater, when Mr. Belding is like saying that he's confused, Slater's like, oh, that happens when you get your age. And it's like, nigga, what? All right. It's like, what are you talking about? He's not okay. And Mr. Belding is like, he believes it. He falls for it. He's like, it actually, this mind trick by Zach and the rest of these kids actually works. And he's like, he believes that he forgot. And he's like, he's handing the baby back to Kelly. And he's like, here, I really enjoyed it, Kelly. And Lisa says something to him and he's like, yes, and your name is Lisa. So Mr. Belding is like so ridiculous that he lets these kids manipulate him and he believes he's forgetting everything. And I'm like, what? Mr. Belding. I think when you're around Zach Morris, you just have to be always like, he's lying. You just have to start from the position that he's lying. You can't believe anything he says until you verify it. And, whatever. He's like, I can't believe he bought into that. So they come in, Max comes in and he takes, a yearbook photo of them. And, how do you explain why is that baby in the yearbook? Who's that baby in the yearbook? Okay. And, so after they take Billy back, Zach is carrying Billy and, who is it? Kelly gives Zach a kiss and on the cheek, and she thanks him for um watching her brother. And Slater comes up and he's like, "Hey, I watched your brother too. You know, why are you just kissing him?" So she gets manipulated into kissing Slater on the cheek too. And Zach, the baby is really calm with Zach, and Kelly is like observing it, and she's like, "Oh, Zach, it's so sweet. My panties are wet seeing you with this baby, because at 16, it's just so hot to see another 16-year-old be good with babies." So Slater is like, "Hey, I'm good with babies too," and he takes Billy from Zach, and Billy starts crying, and this guy yells in this baby's face like, "Hey, cool it, kid." And Zach takes the baby away from him, and Kelly just stands there, and it's like, "Kelly, this musclehead asshole just yelled in a baby's face, your baby brother's face, and you don't say anything. You don't have any words for him. You just stand there like looking at him with a stupid look on your face. Like, no." It's like, what are you doing, Slater? Step away from the baby. And he makes the comment like, "Hey, that's what my mom used to do to me." And it's like, maybe that's why we haven't seen Slater's mother, because she was abusive and she's like in jail or something. She has to stay away from him because, like, who yells in a baby's face? Okay. And so Slater leaves because baby Billy doesn't like him. Baby Billy's a cock blocker as far as Slater's concerned. And while Zach is soothing the baby, he and Kelly are talking, and he's talking about how he bonded with Billy, and there are the worst like sound effects for this baby. It's like, you couldn't do better, Saved by the Bell. I don't know why I always ask that, because obviously they couldn't do better. Or, I mean, I would like to believe that a show that was on NBC, even in the early 90s, late 80s, wanted to be better than this, because the noises coming out of that fake baby was just, it was awful. But that's the end of the episode, and Zach lives to manipulate and lie another day. Oh, the end of 14. We have 15, 16. What is it? 15, 16, 17, and 18. So 4 episodes left of this season, and then we are on to season 4. What is the next episode? The next episode is The Fabulous Belding Boys. I remember that episode. We have Mr. Belding's cool younger brother, and I don't remember why he was supposed to be cool, but I do know that dude was like almost bald. And he was rocking the long hair with the almost bald, like being almost bald, and it's like, dude, just stop it. Cut your hair. That's what I remember about that episode. So, one more thing. And if you're Black, you will know this. So, my girl Lisa was rocking the baby hair very strong. Okay, for the white people in the audience, the baby hair is like the fine hair around your hairline. And mostly Black people, I think my Latinx people do this too. And they we brush the hair forward, so it's like this really soft hair around, like framing your face. Tyra Banks did it a lot too, like on America's Next Top Model. Tyra Banks is like really strong for that. And maybe she was trying to hide her forehead. I mean, she does have a bit of a 5 head, right? We all know that. That's not anything new. But Tyra Banks was really strong into that. But they had Lisa doing it, and I was like, okay, there must have been a black person doing her hair that day, because this is the first time I noticed I noticed that on Lisa, and I don't remember that in any back episode. I'll put the picture up on I'll try to get a good picture, and I'll put it up on on Instagram or Twitter. It is, or maybe I'll put it on the episode. Whatever. I'll put it out there for people. It is so great. I noticed that in the first. It's in the first scene when we when we go to the Max, when they show up at the Max, and it's like, it was so great. I was like, oh my God, who did this? It was so great. Oh, I loved it. So you can follow the podcast on Twitter at TheINerdPod. And you can follow me personally on Twitter at @TheIntrovertedNerd. And put hashtag TheINerdPod on everything, so I'll see whatever you say to me on Twitter. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at TheIntrovertedNerd. And you can like the Facebook page at facebook.com/TheIntrovertedNerd. And if you want to send me feedback, send it to theintrovertednerd@gmail.com. So until the next episode, which is on Friday of that Black Lightning, later people.